Hello and welcome to this ONSHAPE tutorial. Today we're covering the challenges in the top left hand corner, and this is the fourth video in this mini series where I've covered the other challenges as you can see on screen. So if you're interested in any of those other challenges, then check out the videos on my channel. Once you've opened ONSHAPE, on the left hand side you have various options where you can open files that you've created yourself that have been shared with you, and you also have access to the public folder. So if you click on the public folder, you can then open the files which you will need for today's tutorial. So if we search for TPD, so Teach Product Design, and type in Extrude, hit enter, and that will search for files that have been created. And you'll see there's various files that have been copied from my files over the last few years. And if we click on Modified, we can then find the file that we need to use today. So if we click on that and open it up, then you'll see a number of tabs along the bottom. Now the icons at the top of the screen may look slightly different, so what you may need to do is click on the option up here and create a copy of that workspace. That will then save that file into your area, which then you can then edit and obviously share with other people as well. Once you've created a copy of that file, the first thing we need to do is click on the plus. We're then going to left click on Create Part Studio, and this will open a tab which we can use for today's tutorial. So once that's opened, you'll see it appear here, and that can be dragged left, right to wherever you want it to be. And you could also right click on that and rename it as well, or delete it if you need to for whatever particular reason. So what we're going to do is have a look at the first challenge, which is the Master A. As you can see here, we've got this relatively complex looking shape, but what I've done is broken this down into 3 extrudes and 3 sketches. So if we have a look and drag this back in time, we can see the first sketch is relatively simple, and if I turn on the planes as well, we can just zoom out, you can see I've created this sketch on the top plane. So if I right click on that and edit it, press N to normalise that, you can see the dimensions I've used, and obviously the shape as well. And what I've done, I've drawn from the centre or the origin outwards towards this bottom right hand corner. So we're going to do that now, and we're going to create this simple square which is 40 by 40 to start with. So if we go back to the tab, we can click on Sketch. I can select the top plane, press N for normalise, and then zoom in into this area here. So we're going to select the corner rectangle, or we can press G, and I'm going to click or left click from there and drag this down. I'm going to type in 40, enter to confirm now, 40 again, and then I've got the size there. If you accidentally draw that and you don't enter the dimensions, and you might see if I just delete that, you might see a blue line like that. All you need to do is go to the dimension tool, select the line and type in your size to confirm it. So that's all nice and confirmed because everything is black and there's no blue on there. So if we go back and have a look what we need to do next, I'm just going to create a straight line from here, and it's quite simple. It's 10mm in from that point and 10mm in from that point. So we go back to that tab, select the line tool or L for line, snap it to this bottom edge, snap it to this edge up here as well, and then I'm going to press D for dimension or click on dimension. So what we're going to do is go point to point, type in 10mm and enter, and again point to point, type in 10mm and enter. So again, everything is confirmed, everything is defined, there's no blue lines. Okay, so we go back to the master and we'll check out what I did next. So I would have extruded this, as you can see here, and we can right click on there and have a look that I went above the sketch by 10mm and created a new part, as you can see. So nice and easy. Let's go back over to here, let's click on extrude or shift and E, and we're going to drag this over here. Now if I type in 10mm and confirm that, you see it's automatically selected this part of the shape here which I don't want it to do. So I could just untick that, and I've got the overall shape what I wanted. If somehow it's going down, I can flip it like so. Because this is the first feature, we're creating a new part. So I'm just going to confirm that. So that's the first bit done, which is quite simple. If we go back to the master, we can see the next sketch here. So I've created a sketch on the top of the surface this time. So if I right click on that and go edit and normalize that, we can have a look at what we've got here. So if I drag this out, we can then see the dimensions that we've got. So if I wanted to put some extra dimensions in there, and if we have a look at that angle, yeah, so press N, I can click on here and you'll see that these are dimensioned to be 10 each one of those particular points there, like so. So fairly simple, a repeat of what we've done previously, but it's obviously a bit smaller. So let's go back to this part here, select that surface, click on sketch, N for normalize. We zoom in, corner rectangle or G, drag this out, type in 20 and enter, and I'm going to make a deliberate mistake. I'm going to type in the wrong size there. So just to show you, you don't have to delete things, you could just double click on any of these and update them. And I'm just going to drag that out of the way so it's a bit easier to see. So I'm going to use the line tool, and I'm going to draw a line like so, and again I'm going to draw a line like so. I'm going to use the dimension tool to dimension these points. So if we just go back and have a look, again it's 10 millimeters the horizontal dimension, 10 millimeters the vertical, and the same on the other one. So press D and I can dimension it from there like so. Now the other way you could have done this, if I just type those in, just to show you, that's relatively quick. So 10 millimeters enter each time, and 10 millimeters. The other way you could have done it, if I just delete this one, is go to line tool, and if you hover over this shape, you'll see it will snap to the halfway. And because it's 20 millimeters halfway, it will be 10. And again, I can snap it to that halfway point as well. And because I've got a relationship between the middle of that line and the middle of that line, it is fully defined. So that's another way of doing it quickly as well. That's why previously on this sketch here, those dimensions were not in. I just snapped them to the middle points. So we're just going to confirm that. Spin it around with mouse wheel, drag it down, and let's see how much I've extruded that by. So I can edit this one, or I can click on an edge, and I can even see I've gone up 30 millimeters. So that's nice and easy. So I'm going to press Shift and E and spin this around. Again, it's selected all of this, so I can unselect these two sections here if that's what I want to do. If we go back and have a look, you can see I'm not including this sort of triangle space here, and I've missed a bit off the front as well. And I can type in 30 to confirm that, and I'm adding this time, so I'm adding it. So if I click new, you'll see it create two separate parts. I don't want it to do that, and I don't want it to remove either, so we want to add by 30 in that forward direction there, so above the sketch, and confirm that. So there you go. So I've got that now. So if I just zoom out a little bit, that's what we've got. So let's go back to the master and see what it did next. So I did a little sketch. So this time on that top surface, and if I zoom in, let's have a little look. So that's quite straightforward. So 10 millimeters by 20 millimeters. So click that surface, click sketch, N for normalize, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to draw basically along that surface there. So a good little trick that you can use is you could use this feature here, which will use or project edges. So that can be helpful sometimes when you do a design. So just show you that. So I click on that one. I could basically trace these edges here, which will help me basically create a sketch. And I could just draw a straight line basically, and I'll have that perfect shape. I could always check the dimensions by clicking dimension, and checking those. Alright, so that's a good little tool which you can use to trace edges, Or what I could have just done is go into corner rectangle and just sketch that out. So again, I'm going to spin that around to see what we've got, and just zoom out back in again, and then we're going to extrude that. So again, we're just going to check on how much I've done that by. So either clicking on an edge and checking the size out here, so 10mm in that downward direction, or I could go on edit and obviously check it out as well. So it's always good to use this, so therefore you can check all the dimensions that we're using. So we're going to go into here and we're going to go Shift E, and it's going in the wrong direction, so I'm going to flip that and I'm going to say 10mm to confirm it, and it's automatically selected add, so we want to add that rather than creating a new part, like so. And that one is pretty much the first one done. So I could turn off all of these in terms of the origin and the work planes, and I can also change the colour as well if I wanted to by going into here and selecting. So I've gone for the fourth purple one down there. And that is the first challenge done. So the last challenge is this shape you can see on screen. So if you have a rotate of that, you can see the object we're going to create. So the first thing we're going to do is click on the plus to create a new part studio. After a few seconds that will appear, and we've got our master to use as a reference for the tutorial. So if we drag this and go back in time, we can then see what we've done. So I'm going to turn on a few of these work planes here so we can have a look at where I've created it. So just turn that one as well. So I've created a sketch on the front work plane, and if we have a look, it's nice and simple. It's 40 by 40 from the center. So we're going to go front, sketch, and you can press R or the center point, drag that out, and if I stop being lazy and press N, I can then click and type 40 by 40. And again, if you made a mistake on that, you could just double click on any of these and change them to the relevant size, 40 by 40. And if for some reason you missed the dimension out, you could also click on dimension, click on a line, and then typing the size as well. So we've got back to our reference model. We can then see I've done a simple extrude. So if I edit that, you can see that I've did 10mm, but I've used the symmetric feature. So what that does is basically split that 10mm equally in front and back of the sketch. So 10mm is what we're going to do. So Shift and E and spin this around, and 10mm. You can see that's doing on the front of the sketch or the back of the sketch if I flip it. But what I want to do, like I said, is do symmetric, and that split it nice and evenly front and back. And we're going to confirm that as a new solid object. And you see the part appear there. So back to the other model, and then what I did next is, if we carefully rotate this, I created a sketch again on that front work plane, and I'm just going to flatten that, and actually let's spin this around to make life a little bit easier. I'm going to look from the front, and we've got this quite weird shape. So just going to move those around so it's a little bit easier to see. Let's have a look at what we've got there then. Okay. So from the center we've got this 20mm. So we break this down into little sketches, it'll be easier. So we got this 20mm by 10mm from the center. So let's go sketch on the front work plane, zoom in, and like I just said, down from the center 20 by 10. So I can snap it to there if I wanted to, but I'm just going to click and I'm going to go 20, confirm that, and I'm going to go by 10. Oops. Like so. So that's the first bit done. And if we look back, I've then got a box from that bottom corner going all the way around there, and that is 30 by 30. So I'm going to go from this corner. Now you can see it's not letting me snap to that point. So this is where the tool comes in here, this use or project. So I'm going to project that edge and that edge, and after a few seconds you'll see that black line appear. And I'm going to use that to draw this over here. And because I've got a brain like a sieve, or memory like a sieve, I forgot it was 30 by 30. So it's always good to check the dimensions. So double click on that, 30, D for dimension, or choose it at the top. I'm going to go 30 by 30. So we've got that square around, okay, that rectangle there. And then the last little bit is to draw this diagonal down, coming to the centre, along the centre plane there and along here. So it's 10 millimeters along each one. So that's quite simple to do. So we're going to go L for line, drag that down. I could wake this up, so therefore I can snap to that point there, and then come down and then go down again. And then this time, D for dimension, click on those 2 points, 10, click on that point, 10, and what it could do is, you see it's not snapping, so this is a bit of a good trick. We can use some sort of relationship. So I'm going to go that point and that edge, and I'm going to click on that option there, and that will pull it in. And as you can see, there's nothing blue, so there's nothing that is undefined now. So if we just rotate this, and I'm going to go down to next extrude, and let's check out what I did there. So I have got 25 millimeters coming out from that center, coming out by 25. Okay, to create that sort of weird looking shape there. So 25 millimeters. So just going to spin this around a little bit. You can turn off the planes if they do get a little bit annoying, which they can. I'm going to go extrude or shift and E. And you can see it's selected everything. So if it does that, you can obviously deselect, or not like I've deselected. You could deselect it, or just click off all of them and actually select what you want. Now it's a little bit funny because it's hidden sort of behind there. So if I could just turn that one off and select those and then turn the part back on, and we've got 25 mil coming this direction, but it's created a new part, so that's why we've got 2 parts. So what I want to do is add and merge it all together. There you go. So that's where you've got that weird looking shape now. So we go back to the master and drag that down. You can then see I've used the same sketch this time, but gone the other way, and I've gone this time 15 millimeters towards the back of the object and merged it in. So this is showing you that you could just use the same sketch a number of times by turning it on, going shift extrude, and again it's been a little bit annoying, it's not letting me select it. So what I could do is just hide that and go bang, I want that and I want that, flip in, okay, and type in the size. I could turn back this one back on and I can basically add it to create one. So I'm just going to check 15, okay, and go back into that and see, yeah, that was 15. There you go. It's always good to check the copy. So that's okay. So we've got add, simple direction going towards the back. Obviously I could flip it if it was wrong and confirm that. And again, we know that's just one part like that. So that's just showing you how you could basically create quite a complex shape from just that sort of sketch that's in the middle. We then go back to the master and drag it down this time. And let's have a look what I did here. So if I go edit, you can then see I've used the sketch again, this time deleting it and I've just dragged it to a certain distance as long as it goes past the object, and I've just deleted it going towards the back like that. So we're going to go back to the studio, and I'm going to go Shift E, extrude, and what I could do is I could go into the sketch, and obviously I can hide that, and I can, if I turn the sketch on, I can select that part, then I can turn it back on, and I can drag it and go remove, okay, and remove it. Now you will see the issue what we've got there, if I drag this across, is that it is only cutting it that way. Now I could do symmetric, and it's going to cut it, and we still got the end result. But the way I want to show you how to do it is you don't have to use the sketch. So I'm going to get rid of the sketch, okay, and I would do this anyway. I wouldn't bother trying to hide this selective one. I was just going to literally click on that and drag that across as long as it's going past the object, and delete it. So I've used the face this time to create a feature which I've then removed. And if I turn off that, and I've then created that weird looking object. And again, I could go over here and I can mess around as much as I want to change the colour. And if you want it to look like mine, it's the purple one just there. Like so. And that's it. So that's the last in this little mini series. If you're interested in any other tutorials in this series, then click on the tab here in the ONSHAPE file, and you'll see this overview where you can click on each of these symbols and find the videos. So thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.